It is a bright and lovely day. Going to do a few projects while Miss Dillon is awake. Also, good morning. Welcome to today's episode. Today is a rest day, which is super exciting because my body hurts like a motherfucker. And Sarah also is feeling the pain. Her first workout definitely kicked her in the rumpa. But I'm going to mobilize, keep the joints lubricated, and then tomorrow we smash down on some CrossFit liftoff series. It will not be the final episode tomorrow, but it will be part one of the season finale. How about that? I'll have a debriefing on Sunday, which will be the final episode as we move on to the next. So here we go. I don't like that spot anymore. Too much shadow. That's supposed to be one piece. And my window of opportunity is gone. Cut one piece of wood, and that's it. Please pardon the interruption to your usual. Please pardon this interruption to your usual programming for this very important message. Okay, so another new series for the vlog will be the Book of BigManSyndrome. Basically a collection of different sayings or what would make you a part of Big Man Syndrome, which is very inclusive. Just because it's called Big Man Syndrome doesn't mean a little guy or a nice lady can't be a part of the definition. So to kick this one off, we're gonna pass it to a very special guest, Mr. Alexander Bradley Prescott III. Ah, yes, thank you, good sir. Hello, everybody. My name is Prescott Alexander Bradley III, and for today, we turn to page 1076. I might be big, but I've got ninja moves. Now that just doesn't make any sense. I might be big, but I've got ninja moves. This is the one that started it all for me. Back when I first started CrossFit, I was one of the type of big guys who used to look at most of the movements and say, I'm never gonna be able to do that. I'm way too big. It's easier for them because they're small. And where sometimes that is kind of true, you know, with certain range of motion, it doesn't mean that I can't find my own advantages either in those moves or in other moves, specifically like the wall balls. But when we come to like body weight movements, that's typically when the big man brain shuts off and says, that's not gonna happen. I remember doing kipping pull-ups and somebody coming up to me and being like, why don't you learn how to do butterfly? It's much easier. I'm like, that's never gonna happen. And they're like, why not? And I was like, because I'm a giant. One day I realized it was as simple as working through some progressions and learning how to adapt as a bigger person. So I learned how to, do a press to handstand, hold a handstand in place for about a minute or longer. And all these little things came to me. So at that point, I realized that this is me, my calling. So I changed my Instagram account to Big Man Syndrome, used the hashtag Big Man Syndrome as much as possible, especially when it came to a WOD that had a lot of gymnastics in it. And it sounds sort of negative, but it's really more of a positive. There's two sides to it. Going off of the definition of, I might be big, but I've got ninja moves, is really saying, don't judge me just because I'm gigantic. I can do what you can do. Or it's for the big guy who's currently struggling with the thought of doing butterfly pull-ups or any type of body weight movement and saying, it'll come to once you learn the progressions and you work at it, you can do it too. So yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to say about that. Tune in next week for another episode of the Book of Big Man Syndrome. 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 Got some sweet new glasses for editing video. My eyes are starting to hurt a little bit, and hopefully these will help a little bit. They're supposed to block the blue light that's emitted from screens. Let's get back to those projects. Let's see if we can successfully cut some wood this time. And for this, I'm gonna get artistic. That project was not super successful. Woodworking is so much harder than one would expect. We move on. The other thing I needed to cut, which I didn't get a chance to, Sarah just left for the gym, is the metal piece for the bed frame. See the bed frame, the headboard there? The tufted bit there needs to be replaced. The fabric's kind of worn out and has been on there for a while, and we got new fabric for that. And then over this edge right here, I'm going to put a piece of metal, and on the ends of, or the front corners of the bed frame, I'm going to put those metal pieces as well. So it'll look kind of cool. Project for the weekend, I guess. Dylan is napping, so I'm going to get my mobility in really quick. Gonna get Dylan on the baby monitor, just make sure she doesn't, escape her crib and go to Mexico. I'ma roll it out, okay. I'ma roll it out, okay. As you would expect, Dill woke up right when I got inside. You think you got it figured out, and then she goes and does that. All right, a little bit of a commentary situation here. Doing my mobility session, this is something that I used to do when I was full-time training, competitor, and a coach. And basically just scan the entire body, and any hot spots I'd go ahead and specifically treat with either holding in place or oscillating back and forth over that knot. I hit almost every part of my body. Start with my upper back, roll to the side, hit the teres minor in the shoulder, get those nice and loose, move from the back to the glutes. I spend a little bit of time on the glutes. I'll put my opposite foot up on the side that I'm rolling knee, and that'll add that stretch to give me a little bit more of a dynamic roll. Move from there to the hamstrings. I will always hit the spot right between the glute and the hamstring. That's always the tightest for me. Once that loosens up, I then go and oscillate from front to back of the hamstring. And rather than switch legs, I just go from the hamstring all the way up to the quad and then all the way around to the adductor. Just spending a little bit of time on each section to relieve any tension. And then I move on to the calves. While I'm doing the calves, I kind of take my knee all the way through range of motion. I have some junky knees, so sometimes I get a nice little pop out of each one of them. Once I get that, I will hit the left peroneals. My right side isn't too bad, but the left side is the one that I really need to pay attention to because it is really junky. And then, of course, hit the voodoo floss. My usual routine is just below the knee, above the knee, and then halfway up the quad. I don't go all the way to the hip because it gets too bunched up and it almost seems pointless, but just below the hip is an amazing spot and will really make a huge difference for your squats. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll try to do this every once in a while depending on what I'm doing in the video. If you liked it, let me know, leave a comment, and yeah, enjoy the blooper reel to follow. I definitely increased my IQ by putting these glasses on. Thanks for watching today's episode. Give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and see you tomorrow, crew. Tomorrow is the lift-off competition. Oh my god. I'm ready. Are you ready? Hey, dang, gosh, can't wait. Can't stop looking at the screen instead of the lens, because it's just like, hey, there I am. What am I doing? I don't know. And it's kind of weird to talk into a lens. Sting. Testes. Testicles. Currently have the mic between my knees. End action. Alright, let's dry the eyeball out so that it doesn't fall. And cut. And scene. Babe, am I weird? Would you like to comment on my weirdness? No comment. It's a mustache.